Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Gufran Babar, endocrinologist in America. Today's YouTube video will be based on my experience and my tips to be successful at USMLE. And the topic is Do Not Fail USMLE, Tips for Success. As you know that USMLE is a difficult exam. It's a very expensive expedition, and there are thousands and thousands of people all over the world who take these exams and they want to come to US to do their residency. So it's a lot of competition is involved. It's a very competitive exam. So you have to make sure that you give a best shot at this exam and try to do the best that you can to be successful in getting a residency in US. There are a lot of mental, physical stress involved. There's a lot of economic, sacrifice which is involved. Traveling to US for observerships, rotations, research rotations, externships. It's a very, very expensive process. So you come here, do stay at your own expense. Most of them are not paid. Sometimes people pay for them. There are tele rotations, you have to pay for them. ECFMG registration, $145. Step 1 and Step 2 CK, $965. Step 2 CS, $600. If you have to extend the eligibility period for your exam, $90. If you have to change the region, another $85. If you have to reschedule, depending upon how far you are, for Step 1 and Step 2 CK, up to $604. Step 2 CS could be $0 to $1,300. Store recheck could be $80. USMLE transcript, $70. Electronic transfer off the to the ERS, $80. J1 visa, $350. If you are to do that CVS thing, then it is $55. So you can see the amount of revenue that you will be spending on USMLE. So make sure that you try to do the best that you can, so that you don't get a low score, because a low score of less than 215 will not be useful for you as far as getting a residency is concerned in Step 1. And if you fail, then you are again in dire straits, that okay, you have failed a step, now you have to get the energy to retake it. Some people fail again. So do not fail USMLE. That's the goal for today's video. And how are you going to do it? How to prevent failure, how to attain success in this exam will be the road for this video. So most important guidelines that I would say before we go is to try to get a really good score, because that will improve your chances. So how are you going to attain a good score? My tip number 1 is your passion. Give a good passion. Work with passion, that okay, I'm taking USMLE, I have got to be successful and I will be successful. So determination and passion towards attaining success in this exam, because you will come to US, there are better training hospitals, better training facilities, and those people who are IMGs, they will have better salary, better future for their future generations, for themselves, and assisting their families back home to improve their socioeconomic condition. So coming to US is a dream for an IMG, but that dream is related to the hopes of their parents, the hopes and desires that they have, and then the future generations' future as well. So passion is the key. That you want to take good score, you must go and do an all right effort to attain success. Just like you have to burn your boats and say, okay, I'm going into it, I'm spending money, I'm taking money from my parents, I'm getting loans. US graduates, they take loans. So I have to make sure that every dollar that I spend, I get it back. So second tip is assess your strengths. Where are your in your medical education? Were you good at basic sciences? Were you good at clinical sciences and basic sciences? How was your physiology? How was your pathology, anatomy, and so on? So those subjects which are weak, try to do towards the end of your exam, so that you have focused more attention, they stay fresh in your mind, and then you take the test, then it's easier for you. So most important thing for any person is to find out their strengths and weaknesses in any syllabus in the course, for either step 1, step 2 CK, CS, or step 3. Choose your resources. There is a plethora, there is a wide range of resources that you will be coming across. There are videos, there are books. You make sure that you pick one style, one type of things, and then you repeat those things. So you, for board review series, for step 1, you do them, and then you pick up the Q bank, do the Q bank. So that will be your resource. Do the Anki, that would be your resource. So the third thing is finding these review books, that the Q bank and the Anki, and how are you going to use it. So what I do is, okay, 3 months dedicated study for your textbooks, like board review series for each subject, for say step 1, and then you want to make a schedule that, okay, in the morning I'm going to do 2 hours of physiology, 2 hours of pathology. If I'm studying neurology and physiology and pathology, I may want to do the Q bank for 1 hour, the 60 minutes for every 40 questions. You may want to do that, and then you have practice these Q banks. So you will do 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. So the time that you have, use that time to do these Q banks, which will also tell you the strengths and weaknesses you have, and then that will also help you practice the pace of taking the test. So you can do 1 to 2 block, 1 block in the morning and 1 in the evening. And then there are other types of MCQs, MBOSS app on your iPhone, Kaplan MCQs. You're going for lunch, you're going for dinner, you are taking a short break. Do those MCQs to again assess your strengths and weaknesses and focus on the things that you don't know. Other things are the flashcards, the Anki flashcards, which are free. You can download them and review those, and those that you get them wrong, you can repeat them, so that this is a most important tool to improve your memory, so that whatever you study, whatever you read, sticks in your mind. Anything that you feel may be a possible question, make your own Anki cards. You can make them online if you are computer savvy, or you can do flashcards for yourself. Make those high yield points for yourself. Okay, I am studying neurology, specific receptors. I'm studying physiology, specific mechanism. Just you've missed that question. Respiratory control of central control of breathing, peripheral control, peripheral receptors, anything that comes out to your mind. And whenever you're reading a topic, ask your question. What could be a possible high yield point? How could I find them out? Write them down on those flashcards and keep on reviewing to strengthen and to solidify your memory. So then with that, tip number 4 is do the first aid to whatever USMLE step you are doing. First step 1, step 2, step 2 CK, whatever you are doing, try to do the first aid book, so that you can get that key points, high yield points, and then you keep on revising them, because they will then stick to your mind. So don't wait for the first aid. Okay, I'm going to do it at the end. No, do it while you are reading your textbooks, so that you have sufficient time to go over it and then to repeat it. So first 3 months, depending upon you are a US graduate or you are an IMG graduate, most US graduates take 2 months to prepare. So IMGs, you have more time. So first 3 months you read the text, but do the Q banks, the first aid, the Anki with them. You can also, take the NBME tests. These are the tests that you will do towards the end, and they will indicate what is your score. If you are not scoring well, you're scoring under 60, then probably this is not a time for you to take the test. Instead of scoring low or failing the test, why don't you reschedule the test? I know it's going to cost money, but it's better than failing the test. Is better than taking a low score. So that was the tip number 5. Take the NBME test to assess what preparation you have done and what score have you achieved. Target a score. That's the tip number 6. So I had a question from one of the candidates, and he said, I made a video. Please watch my videos, how to get excellent score in step 1, step 2 CK, step 2 CS, step 3. So in one of the videos for step 1, he said, I just want to pass the step. I don't want to get a high score like 270, 240 or 250. I just want to pass. But the problem is that when you're targeting a low score, you may fail. And then there won't be time to repeat it. Where there won't be, you can repeat it, but again, it will be a negative thing on your transcript that you have taken step 1 twice, or you have taken step 1 2 times or 3 times. So those are the things that if you target high, your target is 250 or above, you will score probably 10 or 15 points low, or you may score 250 or above. But you got to go for a better score to pass the exam comfortably. So don't be someone who is just trying to pass the exam, because then you might fail or get such a low score of 215 that you will have less standing when they are screening out applications. So there were 34,266 PGY1 positions, and there were over 40,000 people who applied for the Match 2020. So 6,000 extra application. So you don't want to be one of those 6,000 who are rejected. You want to be in those 34,000 who get accepted. So for that, target for a high score. Try to identify a strategy. Like I said, 3 months. This is the tip number 7. You make a strategy that best suits you. Are you someone who's going to be able to take the test in 2 months? Are you someone who needs 3 months, or someone who needs 4 months? You pick the time, because depending upon how well you did in basic sciences in your medical school for IMG, that will determine how you do on this test. So if you were someone who wasn't a good student, you may want to give yourself good fair time. You just don't focus on Q bank and other questions. You need to have a good base. So good learning is very important. So have a basic base for your textbooks, and then you the Q banks, the Anki, the videos, they will all help you. And you find out a strategy. Do you like to watch videos and learn? Do you want to hear things? Do you want repetition through the Ankis? But you will build on the base. If your base was not good in the medical school, you may want to give good time to these books like board review series to go over them before you feel comfortable and you build on the knowledge that you have attained. My technique was study 4 to 6 hours in the morning. So 4 hours of 2 hours one subject, 2 hours other, then 1 hour for review questions, 1 hour for Anki, get a break, get a lunch break, then do another 6 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours for one subject, 2 hours for second, and then 2 hours for review. So those are the things that will help, and each person can have their own. Some people want to study one subject and then do the second and then the third. Whatever technique suits your type of learning, follow that, because that will determine how successful you will be. So don't You listen to other people, but develop your own technique, because you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. Tip number 8 is a study partner, because I studied with a partner. He was a smart guy and I got help from him. So if you are picking a study partner, you don't want to pick someone who is not a good student, who doesn't have good habits. You can learn about him or her right in the beginning. You want someone who is at a higher level than you, who is smarter than you, who can assist you in learning, who can help you, who can guide you. So a good study partner is a very, very important thing in your preparation for step 1, step 2 CK. So if you don't do good on step 1, then you have to do good on step 2 CK, step 2 CS if that is happening. And then you have to make sure, you may want to do step 3 before you finalize your application. So your tasks become harder and harder. You don't want to be in those 6,000 applications which are rejected. Then USMLE forums. Sometimes people join these USMLE forums for recall questions. They will give us the recall questions, and with those recall questions, I'm going to do great. No, you have to study. You have to do these Q banks, the videos, the Anki, the emboss. You have to depend on these resources. USMLE forums are very good. You get good information, guidance, but don't depend on those recall questions only, because that will be a terrible mistake. Tip number 10 is pick a test date. Sometimes people say, I'm going to take the test when I'm ready. No. When you have a target, that okay, I'm going to take this test in 4 months, I'm going to take this test in 6 months, or I'm going to take it in 3 months. You pace on that. You say, okay, I'm going to work hard, make a schedule, make a timetable, and I'm going to follow that. There would be some days that you would not be able to do well, but don't worry about it. Just make sure that next day is a new day. You do well on the next day, and keep on repeating the same thing over and over and again until your test date comes. Do not study for too long. Tip number 11. So tip number 11 is do not study for too long, because what will happen if you have 6 to 8 months, whatever you studied 6 months ago may be forgotten. Sometimes people say, I'm going to do everything 2 or 3 times. That doesn't help. You study hard the first time. You tell your brain, whatever I'm studying, I should not forget. Keep on repeating that in your mind. Use these techniques. When you have less time, your brain is more receptive. You're focusing hard and you retain more. When you are casual, I have 6 months, I have a year to prepare. I'm going to take my sweet time. I'm going to go take breaks on the weekend, go for vacation. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to have a party with my friends. I want to go out for a couple of days. No, when you set a target, you set a short time and try to attain maximum in that time, so that whatever you study, you don't forget. You don't want to restart memorization 6 months. Okay, I have a year to prepare and I'll take my sweet time. No, set up a smaller target, 3 to 6 months, and then go for it. Remember, IMGs, remember the US graduates on an average take 8 weeks. So that's why those people who are smart, they start preparing for this exam as soon as they're in the medical school and start using board review series from the beginning. Because if you are planning to take it after your final exam, and these days after 1 year of your clinical experience until you get your registration from your respective Pakistan Medical or Dental Council or Indian Medical or Dental Council, you need to be ready for the exam. So if you're smart, you start using BRS from the medical school, that's good. If not, then you need to find dedicated time after your 1 year, 3 to 6 months, prepare for it. Use the board review series, use the Q banks, the videos, the Anki, and then base your strength, your preparation on the USMLE forums. The last tip, the tip number 12, is staying positive. Be positive. There will be days when you will be frustrated, you will be tired, you will lose your energy, you will lose your hope. No, stay positive. Tell yourself, whatever others have achieved, I can achieve too. I can excel. I can be one of those 34,000 candidates who have gotten a US residency. I could be one of those people who get their American dream done. I could be someone who would be able to use whatever money I have spent towards the better of myself, my family back home, and of course, my future generations. So you can open the door of opportunities for yourself by staying positive. Don't doubt your abilities. Don't lose hope. There will be someone who will be smarter than you. Don't get depressed by the smartness of other people. You need to put in a sustained effort. You put in a sustained effort. You keep on working hard, revising things, using your high yield facts that you have prepared, the Anki desk, high yield points in the first aid, all those resources, videos, use them. But you have to have a good base. Study board review series, develop your base, or use Kaplan notes, whatever suit you. And then watch the videos, do the MCQs, repeat the questions, stay positive, set a target for yourself, and then go for it. And like I said, be positive, develop the passion that I'm going to be successful at USMLE. If you do all these things, God will help you, because God only helps who help themselves. Best of luck for your endeavor to be successful at USMLE. Follow these guidelines. Remember, watch my other videos on each step, how to prepare for them. Step 1, step 2 CK, step 2 CS, step 3. Subscribe to my channel, and best of luck. And may God help all of us. Sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wa sallam. Thank you. Have a good day.